Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Kyra, and here on this channel, we love our makeup, but we're also trying to make the best use out of our makeup. Let me set the stage for you. For the last 6 years, I've bought anything and everything that I wanted in the realm of beauty and makeup, and now I am reining myself in. I am tracking what I have, using what I have, and most importantly, loving what I have and changing my mindset in wanting more always. So one of the ways that I do that and kind of get my mindset straight as well as use what I have really well is by project panning. And today's video is my update for my 2024 rolling project pan. So today we're gonna go through, talk about the progress and anything that might be rolling in or out. And with all of that said, let's get started. The first product in this project has been in since the intro. It's my Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Skin Tint, and my goal is to finish it. In April, I did decant it into this eye cream container here. And in the last month, I have used it 6 times. So I am definitely showing progress here. It actually, I thought it would be too light for my skin tone, but it's actually pretty perfect for my skin tone right now. So I'll definitely be using this some more through the end of summer here and going into the fall, because otherwise I'm going to have to add more product to change the shade. So like I said, I have used this 6 times since the last update, and I've used it 23 times in the project total. So we're just gonna keep on keeping on with this one, get it finished up, move it out. Next is also a product that was rolled in from the intro, and that is my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in the shade Fair. My goal again is to finish this. I mostly use this on my under eyes, but again, this year I am making good progress with this one. Even though I mostly use it on my under eyes, I do use it every day that I wear makeup, and sometimes I also use it for a touch-up or setting in the center of my face. It just really depends, but for the most part, this is going on the under eyes and being used for touch-ups. Since the last update, I have used it 18 more times. So far in the project, I've used it 65 times, and I do think I will finish this one by the end of the year. When it comes to base products, I feel like slow and steady wins the race when it comes to finishing things, and I'm just using it naturally and organically in my everyday makeup. One product that has been finally finished since the last update is my Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. Finally done. This took me way longer than I thought it was going to. Again, this was put in at the intro, and I did finish it on July 6th. I really thought a couple months into the year I would have this finished. This was the only cream bronzer for the most part that I was working on this year. I've had a few roll into like Project 10 Uses and Deck of Panning, but otherwise this is the cream bronzer that I was using. It took me 7 additional uses after last month to finish it. It took me 47 uses to finish this bronzer, and I'm very happy to have it finished. I'm also very happy to have this compact because it's really nice, it's sturdy, it's a metal pan, so I'll be able to clean this up and use it for repressing or franketing in the future. Next, I have my highlighter. This is the only powder highlighter that I have in this project. And again, it's one that I've been using quite a bit, but I have had other highlighters, especially in my Project 10 Uses as well, so it is what it is. I have only used it 3 additional times since the last update, which is kind of unfortunate, but I was trying to move out a few of the highlighters that are in my Project 10 Uses so that I could get back to concentrating on this one. I still think I have a good chance of finishing this one this year, and so far I have used this 27 times in the project. Highlighters are always slow going, but you know, I had repressed it one final time it's pretty thin in there. Like it is not, there's not a ton of product. And so I do think I'll be able to finish this off once I can concentrate on it a little bit more. Physicians Formula Butter Blush in the shade Vintage Rouge has been a gigantic fail. So far this year, my goal is to hit pan on this one. And I thought, you know, that it would be quite easy because it is one of my favorite blushes. It's actually kind of sentimental to me as well. And I thought, you know, I've used it a ton. I really enjoy using it. So I put it in the project. In the last month, I've only used it twice, which again, big fail. And overall, I've only used it 18 times since the beginning of the year, or the beginning of the project, which I believe I started this in February. So yeah, gonna have to start concentrating on that one if, you know, I want to be able to hit my goal by the end of the year. Next is quite the success in the blush department. It is my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush Mini in the shade Mood Exposure. This is my all-time favorite blush. It is one that I will repurchase immediately once I finish this one, but I have had this one for years and years, and I just want to use it up before the formula changes and it no longer performs like it once did. I still feel like it is performing quite well. I feel like the Hourglass products do age quite well. I've never lost one yet. I've never had one that I finished or used that I felt like had changed in the quality of the product. But I do have major pan in this one now. You'll see it here where all this waffle pan is showing through, and then over here in this side of the product is quite thin. I would say the highest point of the product, you know, is in these three corners here, but we're definitely making headway. I don't know if I'll get this finished by the end of the year, but if I don't, it's gonna be darn close because I am using it a lot. Since the last update, I've used it 4 times. I'm pretty sure it was more than that, but I had quite a few days where I was like in a hurry doing makeup and not really marking my book very well. But so far, I have used this 27 times since putting it in the project, and that was not an original. This was like, we're into the roll-ins now. Next, for a product that I have no progress on, is my Tarte C H2O Balm in the shade Hang 10. Again, my goal is to finish it. I added this to the project in April, and I have not used it at all since the last update, so fail. But it's a nice color. I do think it's a color that works with a lot of makeup looks. So I just need to remember to reach for that one. My NARS Velvet Matte Lips Pencil in the shade Dulce Vita, I have only used once since my last update for a total use of 3 since rolling it in. It's this one right here, the matte one. It's very similar to the Tarte one, so I kind of can use them interchangeably. I forgot to say though that for the Tarte one, I have used it 9 times so far in the project. So it is getting used. It just didn't get used in the last month. I feel like July just flew by. I did use today my ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade BFF2. This is a beautiful sort of brown lip liner that works with a lot of different looks. And today I just used it kind of to contour my lips, and then I put Maybelline Peach Ring over top, but that is what that one looks like. I have used it twice since the last update and 10 times total in this project. I'm just glad some of these older lip products are getting the use they deserve. Another one that I have not used since the last update is my Milani Understatement Lip Liner in the shade Desert Rose. That is all that is left. I need to pull this one out and just let it sit on my desktop so I can just finish it off. I think I forget how little is actually left in here, and I would love to just finish that up and roll it out. So we're gonna call this a focus product for this coming month, along with the butter blush that didn't get used at all. Then I have my 2 Milani color statement lip liners. The first one here is in the shade Nude. I have worn this once since the last update, and it's a little bit more of a pinky shade, which is just not entirely my jam for this time of year, but it's still beautiful. I've used it once in the last month and 2 or 3 times total. And then last lip liner is again the Milani Color Statement lip liner. This is the shade All Natural. I definitely get more use out of this one. It's more of a nude than nude in my opinion. Nude is more pink and this one is actually more nude to me. I've used it 3 times since the last update and 13 times total since putting it in the project. One product that I have really good progress that I'm excited to share with you is my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is one that I am marking. You can see that there's a tiny bit of product above the line, but the product actually goes down even deeper, I would say, than what my line is. But that is how much progress I have had in the last month. So I've used this 10 times in the last month, and I have used this 28 times since rolling it into the project, and I'll be very happy. I have no doubt that I can finish this one before the end of the year, and I will be very happy to have a concealer moved out. Next is a primer that I had in the project. This is my Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder Mini, and my goal was to finish it. I had used it 7 times previously in the project, and after 8 more uses, I did go ahead and finish this one all up. Very happy. Again, also happy to have this little container to, you know, store any little bits of product if need be. But I did finish this one on July 18th. Another product that I'm working on finishing, it is a primer as well. It is my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer Mini, and I had used it 2 times previously in the project, and this month I did use it 2 times again, and you're gonna see here that I was able to make a new little line on the side here. So I'm very happy about progress, and also I think now that I've finished the Danessa Myricks primer, this will be very easy to finish up. So I'm gonna call this a focus item for next month as well. As I mentioned in my previous updates, I am rolling through my multi-use palettes in this project with a goal to use each shade in each palette 10 times. And the one that is currently rolled in is my Salt New York custom palette, and I'll have pictures up on the screen for you as well, but this is what we're looking like so far. You can see I've really dug into the bronzer. I use a little palette knife like this to scoop the product out and onto the back of my hand, and then I apply with a brush, or at least for the bronzer. I also do that for the blush. The highlighter, as long as my hands are clean, I just kind of dip my finger in there because it doesn't take much. I'm wearing all of these today, but let me tell you the progress. So this was just rolled in last month. This shade, the bronzer shade, I have used 5 times. The highlighter shade, which is the highlighter in beige, I've used twice, including today. And then I did go ahead and mix the 2 blushes today for my blush look. I also have another blush on top. I have only used the blush shades 1 time each, so definitely enjoying working on that. However, obviously it's cream products, which is a big part of why I put this in, is, you know, cream products, there's no guarantee they're going to last until you finish them. So I'm very much enjoying playing with that palette. The bronzer's a really nice color, especially for, you know, kind of a base shade and then go over top with a powder bronzer, which is definitely what I've been doing. Next, I have my bronzer, or one of the bronzers I'm working on in this project. My goal is to hit pan in as many bronzers as I can this year, and this is one of them. It is my Clinique Powder Pop Flower Bronzer in the shade Solar Pop. My goal is to hit pan or have 24 uses on this one, whichever comes first, but there is a lot of, you know, progress going on here. I have a nice dip through the entire center, and part of that is the brush. I've been using for bronzer lately. It's this one, so, you know, it kind of picks up from the whole pan there, but I'm very happy with this. As of the last update, I had used it 6 times, and since then I have used it 5 additional times for a total of 11 uses. And there is no pan yet, but I do suspect that it is very imminent. Right here is where I see kind of, I don't know if it's the start of a waffle. I'm not for sure what's, you know, under here in terms of a pan, but I'm very excited nonetheless. And that one is rolling on through to the next month. I also have an arbitrary goal of using all of my foundations 10 times this year, at least. And so the current 2 that I have in this project are my Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint and my Cali Ray Free Dreaming Skin Wellness Diffusing Tint. Let's go ahead and talk about the Maybelline Skin Tint first. First of all, I'm like all the way down here in terms of usage, which is nice to see. I love to see my products getting used. So as of the last update, I had used it 4 times. And since that update, I have used it 3 additional times for 7 uses. So we only need 3 more uses on this one. And I'm very, very happy about that. It is a good shade match for me right now. It can be slightly deep, but that I would prefer that over slightly too light. And so I'm definitely going to get my last 3 uses on that one and roll it out. I am, however, using a new foundation today. I did have to adjust the shade, but it's the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation with SPF 15. This was recently sent to me in PR. It is a brand new product, and I think it looks really nice on my skin. And then again, the Cali Ray Free Dreaming Skin Wellness Diffusing Tint. I have in the shade 3 Light Neutral. This is quite light for me right now. And the other problem I'm having with it is, even though it has like a shaky ball in there, it keeps coming out separated, which I am not loving, as well as I have to mix this with a deeper shade of foundation to get it to work for me. So it has not been getting very much love from me, and I'm kind of considering rolling it out for now because of that, but it really doesn't feel like there's a ton left in there, so I'm not for sure. But as of last month, I had used it twice, and this month I have used it once. So I don't know, I'm not officially rolling it out, but it's also not getting a ton of love right now. For cream blush, I have rolled in my Honest Beauty Creme Cheek Blush in the shade Rose Pink with the Goal to Hit pan. I do have a nice dip on this one, and I'm very happy about that. It still smells just fine, but again, my goal is to hit pan at least. And as of last month, I had only used it 1 time, but I have used it 3 additional times this month for a total of 4 uses. And I do feel like I'm getting close to pan. Maybe not within the next month, especially if I'm focusing on other blushes, but it's definitely coming. Another cream bronzer in this project is my Huda Beauty Tantour. I have mine in the shade Fair. My goal is to use it 10 times to start at least and see how I'm feeling about the product itself, whether it's still good, whether it works for my skin, etc. It doesn't really have a scent yet. It just smells like makeup to me. It doesn't have like that going off scent. I have only used it 2 times since putting it in the project last month, but you can see I am using, again, my metal spatula to pull the product out and put it on the back of my hand. Another thing I wanted to mention is, if you feel like, and I've talked about this briefly before, so skip ahead if you've heard this spiel, but with your cream products, just like your powder products, you can sanitize them with rubbing alcohol, with isopropyl alcohol. I recommend a 70%, and it's also what's recommended in my courses from Online Makeup Academy, because if you use 90%, it dries so quickly that it doesn't stay on the product long enough to actually sanitize it. So the 70% has just a little bit more of a water content, and it stays on the product long enough to actually sanitize it. And with powders, I just, I spray, I let them dry, and that's what I do. But with creams, and especially if you are starting to get that little bit of a scent that is going off, try spraying it with alcohol, leave it on at least 30 seconds, and then just take a paper towel or whatever you want to use and gently wipe the surface of the cream product. Yes, you lose some product, but it's better than losing the whole thing if it expires on you. And I have found that that does help. It did help with my Tower 28 Beach Please blush. When I thought that was going off, after I did that, the scent was gone. So just putting that out there. This one is in for at least 8 more uses. And lastly, this is a lot of stuff, but this is a big project for me, is another powder bronzer. The Clinique one has a slight glow or luminosity to it. This is 100% a matte bronzer. And again, I have the arbitrary goal of trying to hit pan on all of my powder bronzers this year. Not all of them, as many as I can. So far, I think I've hit pan in 3 this year, which is really exciting, as well as finishing up a cream one. This is my Fenty Beauty Sun Stalker bronzer in the shade In the Sun, and I did roll this in last month. And in the last month, I have used this at least 8 times. I have used it on my eyes a few times, and I don't track those as individual uses usually. I did use this bronzer today over the cream bronzer from Salt New York, and I'm very happy. And I do feel like I'm starting to see the ring right here. So I know I am getting close, and that makes me very happy. So as far as roll-ins for this month, I was considering rolling in my Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder just to for tracking purposes. I mean, this sucker is full. The only reason I was considering rolling this in is because I recently received a backup of this, and it is a favorite powder. So part of me is like, well, maybe let's just start tracking, the uses on this one. So what do you guys think? Maybe I will. And then I feel like I want to roll in another smoothing primer, since I did finish the Danessa Myricks. And I think the one that logically makes sense for me to roll in is the one that I have the most progress on it currently, which is my e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. And as you can see, it's right below where the label stops. I believe I went through this super fast. It is definitely a favorite blurring type primer. I feel like it helps with the longevity of my makeup as well. So I think I will just go ahead and track the uses to go ahead and finish this one up. And I think that's all I'm going to add for today. I do suspect we'll have some goals met for next month as well. And again, those focus products for me are going to be the Milani lip liner, the butter blush. What do we want to set a goal for this? I'd like to see myself use this at least 5 times, if not more, before the next update. And then again, I would like to use up the e.l.f. Mini Power Grip Primer before the next update. 3 focus products I think is pretty good, and that is all. So that is all for my update today. What do you guys think of the progress? I'm feeling pretty good about my progress in this project. Let me go ahead and count how many goals I have met so far. So far I've met 12 goals in this project, which is half of 24. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. We're a little over the halfway point of the year, but I feel like we're definitely, set up for success in finishing quite a few of these products or meeting goals, as some of them are just to hit pan or use a certain number of times. I know a lot of people use their year-long rolling project to finish products, and I'm definitely doing that as well. I'm not setting goals to finish products very often in other projects, but I also like to use this project to help me meet my more arbitrary goals like usage goals on certain categories. So I like to use this project however I can as a tool to help me meet my overarching goals for my collection for the year. So that's what I'm doing. How is your year-long project going? If you're doing a project, are you still enjoying the products? Are you hate painting in anything? And maybe you should consider rolling it out if so. But with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, today's update. I know I did, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days. Bye.